All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. We'd love you to support this show. Please like, follow, and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Your likes and subscription helps us to grow and attract interviews and content. So please retweet and share our posts. Your contributions are appreciated. Welcome to episode 440 of the KissFAQ Podcast. Yesterday, the Peanut Gallery had their thoughts on the Kiss Cruise. Today, we're going straight to someone who was actually there for an opinion that has value. Andy's back. He's always my go-to reporter on these because he is a fan. He is enthusiastic. He lives in the fan experience and doesn't look for shit to nitpick. He wants to enjoy the stuff. So, Andy, before we get into talking about the cruise and the events around it, I want to thank you. And thank you personally for setting up the thing at Godmother's on the 28th with the Sisters doll, and for allowing me to sell books at that event and bringing in a ton of fans to the Crown with a block of rooms. And you also organized shuttles, didn't you? So that's what a real fan does. He does things for other fans, to make life easier. And it was a fun hotel. It was, from my perspective, it was a fantastic gathering at Godmother's that evening. I mean, it was wild. It was off the hook. It was heaving. Couldn't get to the bar. So well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Again, I if people haven't been don't watch or listen or even go on a Kiss Cruises, that the original plan was to have everything at the Crown, and that place is very, really nice. And, but I think they were nervous, just like the first time in Miami when we did this kind of stuff in Miami. They thought people would just kind of we were reckless and we'd overrun it. But anyways, we had to move it to Godmother's, and the woman who owns, her name is Sandra, who owns Godmother's, couldn't have been any nicer.
She was awesome. I mean, she was really awesome. And so was her whole crew behind the bar.
Yeah, they knew they were going to get a load of people in that place, and it wasn't the biggest place in the world, but it was a nice even flow. I mean, there were people coming, going, and if you basically, I had made a special cup, which I don't have here because I had overloaded myself with sending stuff down because, as you know, some of us know that me and Kim went down. Kim and I should say, went down for 2 weeks, basically a week before, to do other stuff besides just Kiss stuff, So I had overloaded about the sending stuff, plus the bar crawl shirts. We went 100 people, 100 shirts plus. And so I really overloaded. So I had to send a box home, and Mr. World famous Julian Gill here sent a box home for me, which weighed about 60 pounds, I would imagine. And so I didn't
have to carry it. That was even better. Feno grabbed it for me. It was awesome. He drove me and Andrew over, and he grabbed it out of the car, lugged it on in there. I was like, dude, this is awesome.
That's why it cost me so much. No. It was, so that cup we had thrown, basically the first week's clothes and some other stuff that we didn't need before we got on the Kiss Cruise. So I don't even have that cup to show anybody, but it was really cool. And the thing is, I told them they could do anything they wanted with the cup. They could put the drinks in it, sell it for X amount of money. I didn't really care. It was donated by me and you, the world famous Julian Gill. So
yeah, and I only saw the cups briefly, and they look great, and saw people drinking out of them. Also, people with beers wondering what the hell to do with it, whether they're going to pour their drink in it and drink out of it, or keep it mint out of box. So it was fun.
Yeah, and basically what they decided to do, because I said, we said you could do what you want. Is basically people were going to buy a drink anyway, so if you bought a drink, anything, didn't even matter, even a soda or water, I don't know, whatever. So if you bought a drink, gave them $2 more, they give you the cup and a raffle ticket, and we would do raffles basically every half hour, basically, right? Started about 7.
Yeah.
I think we did about half hour. We pull the prizes, and people would win Kiss goodies that, like I donated some stuff, you donated some stuff. Some other people that showed up said, here you go, Andy. And like, that's what we did. So that was fun. And again, I know the place was smaller, but I did get afraid when I first walked in and going, uh-oh, because, been part of other things in the past, massive seas of people. But there was a nice, constant, even flow all night long. So it was really good. And the sisters were very happy hanging out with people, taking autographs, doing autographs, taking their time, doing photos, all kinds of stuff. They were hanging around the bar with everybody. It was like even their mother said they were all happy and they were glad to be there. And I can't say enough how genuine that whole family is. They were very cool. They didn't say, oh, we want this or we want that, we're the rock star kind of thing. They took everything in stride with everybody. And It was very cool. Very, very awesome. And I don't know how it is, but this has got to be one of those years that, even though Kim and I didn't go on the last two of them, but even before this year, we had so many thanks to set what we did up that people just wanted to hang, to be able to talk like you and I are talking now. We had Kiss music in the background, and we, like I said, I got on the microphone once and said, you guys want it turned up louder or you guys want it turned down lower? And what was the consensus, Julian?
Louder.
Everybody wanted it low. Lower at first and then louder at the end.
Well, yeah, there was some fluctuation, and I think everyone screamed for it to be turned off when Gene Simmons' Dog came on from his solo album. That was hilarious. I mean, Andy had everything on his playlist, and I mean, there was some live stuff. There was some, Frehley's Comet, Ace Frehley Band, all sorts of stuff. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and I literally, a lot of people came up and said, thank you. This is what they wanted. This is the kind of more laid back. And, it was, I don't care what anybody wants to do. It's your time, your money, it's your vacation. But a lot of people just wanted to just hang out from traveling and this and that and everything else. So that's what that. So, and you were there and you were all happy to sign your books.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The Scots were there. The Aussies were there. Apologies to that one family who were asked to leave. Unfortunately, in the United States and California in particular, the law is that if you're under 21, you're not allowed into a bar. It's different than a restaurant that serves alcohol, whereas in Europe, we don't really give two shits, to be perfectly honest, but different countries, different laws. I did answer that question on the Kiss Cruisers page to one family, but I guess this other family didn't. And it's embarrassing when that happens, but unfortunately that is just the local culture in this country, and that children aren't allowed in those sorts of establishments.
Yeah, but it was interesting because when I first saw him, I was like, wow, he's been here a while, and then I went up to get Kim a Diet Coke or myself a Diet Coke, and he was beside me, and all of a sudden he looks up and then somebody said, what is he doing here? And he's like, and I'm like, no. And I felt so bad, because he was just enjoying the atmosphere with the family and stuff, and they didn't really understand at first either. But so his wife went outside, took him outside, and the dad was still inside hanging out at the doorway, kind of seeing. And I felt so bad, and I'm like, I just started grabbing stuff. I had a bunch of stickers all across the front of the stage, which everybody could have took for free, which is kind of weird. Usually I put those things all over the place, and they're gone. They're gone within 5 minutes. But there was still a bunch left, and some leftover posters from past events. And then so I grabbed everything and anything I could for the kid, grabbed the cup, went outside and said, I'm sorry. And I gave him a bunch of stuff, and I felt bad. That's when I uh-oh. But I gave him a bunch of stuff. And he just turned to like jelly. He was so happy after that and everything else. And the parents thanked me and everything else again. So, it just, it's just the law. There's nothing we can do about it. And you don't want the bar to lose their license. So, and that's another reason why I kind of wanted in the crowd, because I know there'd be families there too, but just the way that things work out. People hanging around at the Crown. I left some cups at the Crown and said, I left like 50 cups because I took half and half. I split half the Crown cups and brought them to Godmother's, and I let the Crown have those ones. So it was like a 50-50 split with those ones, and then I had another 100. We had another 100 special Godmother's cup, ones for Godmother. So in the long run, it all worked out really, really well. Everybody, a lot of people, very, very happy, and I'm happy that a lot of people are happy. I felt like there's a big monkey off my back, and a lot of people were happy. So it just like felt like a lot of pressure off my shoulders, you know. So
Yeah, because we were
you
in
know,
there the night of the 26th, and then I was in there, the night, the following night, and that was casual. But that still had quite a few Kiss fans coming through, so it was great that Kiss fans found their way there, and it was, conveniently located to,
yeah,
the restaurant area, San Pedro, record stores up around the corner, lots of good places. I mean, it actually turned out to be a pretty nice and self-contained, very walkable location to be at. The DoubleTree was, just under 2 miles away, so that would have been an Uber and whatnot, or a 15, 20-minute walk, no big deal. But up by the Crown was where everything was, 24-hour Subway, sandwiches, convenience store and all that sort of thing. So, and you could actually look out some of the windows of the hotel and see the cruise boats and all that. So it was a beautiful hotel, by the way. They must have had kittens when they saw all the Kiss fans coming in.
I think that was in one of those towns. I think everybody said it was one of those towns that they might get people into going on cruises, but nothing like, this. But you are right, though. All the restaurants around, breakfast places were all cool because we hit a couple of them, just to try different things, and every one of them were very accommodating. They knew they were going to get flooded with people after they saw people coming in, but everything worked out very well all the way around. Like you said, everything within a 2 or 3 minute walk. I mean, if you didn't want to eat at the Crown or whatever, and of course, if you want to cross the street, the boardwalk, you see USS Iowa, and I mean, there was so much stuff. So it was good contained, I would say contained area if you didn't want to do a lot of walking. So that was it. So that was awesome. So
Yeah, so you came in early. You didn't go on the first Kiss cruise. You actually came into California a week early to do some other stuff. What were the activities that you got up to that brought you to Californication first and early?
yeah, well, yeah, we the agreement was agreement. That's kind of funny. I shouldn't even say that. It wasn't even an agreement. It was kind of like when the Kiss cruise got announced, because we said we were done after 2018 when Ace was on it. I was just like, turned to Kim and said, there's no way it could get better than this. You had almost the whole Unplugged people up there. I'm like, wow, this is like, this can't be going to be top with all these cruises I go on. Because Kim had been to 4 or 5 at that point. I had been on all of them at that point. So, when we were going to get married in 2019, we decided to change over and go to Florida. But, I set up the hotel for everybody. Then we did the Peter Chris meet and greets, which everybody loved. And then we kind of took off on our own way that year in 2019. So we got a call from Steve and another Kim that, they're together, whatever. And they call us at the 11th hour and say, you want to go on a Kiss cruise or so? And I looked at Kim, hey, Kim, you want to go on a Kiss cruise? We can room with them. We haven't seen them since 2018. You want to do this? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, it's going on to L.A. And she was like, well, that's kind of different. I says, well, we can go to Disneyland. And she was like, yep, I'm in. So, so that was part of the, I would say, the bargain. I won't even say a bargain, but she loves Kiss too, but she just hates the drama of some things that go along with the Kiss cruise community stuff. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we went to Universal Halloween Horror Nights, which I'm into because all the flights kept getting pushed back. So I says, well, if we're going to do this, to keep pushing back the flights because it's supposed to be on the following Tuesday. So we pushed it back to Saturday. So I said, wow, I can go to Halloween Nights on Sunday. So we did that. But as soon as we dropped in Los Angeles on Saturday, if people don't know, is that me, like a goofy, we take Kiss to the next, I don't want to say the next limit, the next extreme. And some of us find these Kiss places, not just the normal ones. We go after the real obscure things. So me and a guy named Greg, I won't say his last name because I don't know if he wants me to say it. I keep forgetting him, and I know he'll watch this. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Thanks. We both did, stuff to make all this happen. And this isn't like, oh, I just found this yesterday. This Some of this stuff takes a long time besides the simple star to the Kiss star. You know what I mean? So I found out where Gene Simmons introduced the first Kiss condom. You know what I mean? Goofy stuff, but I'm in the area. I'm right there.
Yeah, off the wall, visit a location. Gene
Yeah.
Simmons posed for a photo here. I saw your binder as you're going through this of all these notes that you had for each location. I mean, talk about preparation. Holy crap.
Yeah, what we do is like find this place, map it out like on Google Maps, and then you can get down to like 10. So you got to keep eliminating, rearranging, eliminating, finding, get a new one. So yeah, it does take a lot of work, and then, you have like a year to work on it because you're going to LA. So I had basically like 100, and I'm not talking about Gene Simmons' house, Paul Stanley's. I'm not even talking about going up that way. I just found like Sunset Strip, the Hollywood Boulevard, and along the way, as soon as you got out of LAX, there's a bunch of Kiss stuff as you start going on, like what the old, the Forum and all that stuff is right there. All the stuff where, say, Neil Bogart is buried. He's in a spot you can't really actually get into because he's buried. Well, he's in a place that's you can't get into. So, sorry, I'm hoarse too. I lost my voice after like day 3 on a cruise or day 2. So, anyways, but it was when we first got to Los Angeles, I had a plan. So I had it set up in 6 different sections. So I just didn't have a map because people were asking me after I started posting, Andy, can I have the map? Can I have the map? And I kept going, no, it's not a map, because all I would do is go to a place. I had the paper. I would put the next 3 in. And after I went to a place, I would like rip the paper and just toss it in the back of the rental car and move on, So, but when we first got to LA, I'm like, at first I was going to get started and go up and then hit the hotel. But by the time we got there, it was better for us to skip low, go straight to the motel. We had a Motel 6, which was off the boulevard, off the Hollywood Boulevard, which was fine. The hotel is actually not bad. The room was like really nice. The parking situation is crazy there, though.
LA.
Because you have to pay for parking. It's like $20 a day. And you can't like pre-order it, and you can't. When I got there, I wanted to get to 3 days because I was staying there 3 days, and they wouldn't let me do it. So every morning you had to get up and get a spot. So I didn't want a spot. We didn't have a spot, but you could park around the next block into another hotels because they had a ton of space, and it was cheaper. So we would do that instead. So other than that, so we started doing the whole. You saw, if anybody watches me, so we went to the Boulevard. Sunset Strip. I mean, I must have hit. I'll have to go back because, like I said, a lot of the paperwork is in the box that shipped back, and I shipped it back to my work, and I'll pick it up Monday. But I must have hit like 40 spots between videos and pictures. So I hit 40 out of about 100. So if I had another, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, not 3 weeks, geez, a week or so, I probably could have hit 100 or more. So, and a lot of people who were in LA in that area were watching the videos saying, I was kept you up late because all I do is do a video, run, do a video, run, do a video, run, go, 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 go. And we were up at, I love you, Kim. I was getting Kim up at 4 a.m. in the morning going, let's go, we got to go. And she said, where are you going?
Actually, I think she must really love you if she's letting you get her up at 4 a.m.
Now, figure too, we're on the East Coast, and then now we just went back. So we're, it doesn't bother me one bit. The time change never bothered me. But Kim was like, oh my God. Why? Because I'm like, the parking. I want to get to these buildings and get to this stuff, even though if we can't get in. Some of them, like, I can't get in the Troubadour, right? The WASP thing was a big thing for me. I wanted to go to a couple of WASP spots along the way. And, I couldn't get in the Troubadour because it's not open at 4:30 in the morning. But it was just cool being there, seeing the outside, just thinking about that too, at the same time. So, I want to hit a lot more Kiss spots, and I want to hit a lot more bizarre ones. Well, I would say bizarre, a lot different. A lot of people love the Creatures of the Night remake spot. That was one that we end up going to as one of them. And people really loved that one because that was totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then the next morning we got up. We went to Universal. We had a early day package, what they call 2 o'clock. Get in here at 2 and stay till 2 a.m. in the morning. So we did that. on the 23rd. Which, imagine this, she must really love me because we went to Universal all that afternoon, all night, got up at 4 a.m. again and started up again. And then more Kiss spots. I mean, tons more. And then we just kept roaming around, and hitting as many Kiss spots as I possibly could for the next couple of days. And then we went to Disneyland. Oh, I drove, but I rented a van. Everybody else pitched in for gas, all that other stuff, gas, tolls, a rental. And I had 13 other Kiss fans that went with us to Disneyland on Thursday.
I have one question about that. Did
Yes.
everyone show up on time?
Yes.
Hallelujah. Because I
Actually,
remember the night before, you're raging, you better be here or we're leaving without you.
well, that's not me. That was Kim, actually, because Disneyland was Kim's thing. And she was telling him, get your can here. You're not, you're going to miss this, period. But
Don't
everybody
mess
showed
with
up.
Kim's side of the deal.
Yeah, and you know how Kim, she's very laid back, and but this is the one thing that she really wanted to go see. Everybody was there. Everybody was cool. Everybody and then I said everybody could go there all separate ways. There was little groups here and there. Some people went their own way. It didn't matter. And then everybody met at a certain spot. And actually, everybody wanted to leave a little bit earlier instead of staying till midnight because they didn't have the fireworks. So we left about maybe like 11 o'clock. Everybody got on. We went back, and everybody was happy. So it went really well.
Good. I'm glad that worked out for everyone, because when I checked in on Facebook, what was that, the 27th, I was over at the Cruise Fest that day when you were out at Disney, and I was like, okay, it looks like he had everyone, and everyone's still smiling. That's a good sign. Everyone made it. So, nice to know that went down.
Yeah, it was funny. We took a group picture together. I go, oh, yeah, this is early in the morning. Then we took a group picture when we were leaving. I said, now I'm going to compare. I'm going to put side by side, see how tired everybody is. But anyways, that was a blast, and I'm glad everybody showed up. Everybody just had a blast. Everybody puts everything away, So we just gelled together, and it was fun. So then, next night was Godmother's and the Crown. And then, guess what? It's Kiss Cruise time, right? So you ask, I tell.
Yeah, so Kiss Cruise is great from my perspective, because I was running around that morning, met up with you, obviously, to get the stuff to ship back east. And then I blew out of the... I queued up some Wasp on my car. I went squealing wheels out of there listening to Tormentor, while people are queued up for the shuttle. It came up random. It was like the... like the perfect song to kind of get out of the Kiss mood and head down to Anaheim for the show. But boarding, how did the boarding process and everything for the first time for Kiss Cruise going out of LA compare with Miami? Was it as smooth as it is down in Miami? Because it's a fine art, especially with the cruisers who were on part one having to get off for an hour and a half and then get back on. How did the process go?
Well, they gave you times, when you did your sign in or whatever off of 6-man/NCL, and you were supposed to be there at a certain time. But when we got there at our time, but the four of us, there was stack loads of people. If you saw my video that I did, a go live video.
Yeah, you did a walk down the line, getting everyone worked up like they were going to walk into a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it was crazy packed. We got in, like, you first get in, then you have to go to another area. You take photos if you want a photo, because there are backgrounds, whatever, getting on. And then you wait, you get like a card, and then they get your numbers, and then they call out the numbers, and basically, go in and you go up the thing to get on the ship. Well, they'll call out the numbers, and then they called number 21, and we were number 22. And then next year, you just see piles of people just piling on and going in. I walked over there, and I'm like, they're not even calling numbers anymore. It was just like, go. Nobody said anything. It was just like, go. So they will get people on, just come on and get on. I think I don't understand why they just all of a sudden stopped calling numbers. It is what it is. But everybody got on, so it wasn't a big deal, and we were pumped to get on. So we got on. You get your key cards like these. You got your name. You got to hook up, of course, your credit card, whatever, how you're going to pay. If you carry something on, whatever, you carry it on. And then it was basically lunchtime, You couldn't get into the rooms yet. The rooms, they block everything off. And then finally, it was go time. You know what I mean? Got to get to your room, get some lunch, put your stuff there, and here we go. So, you know how that goes. First thing is first, there's stack loads of people already piled, crammed, right there for the Sailway show. And you know what? Been there, done that, no more. Besides, now even Kim did it with me once or twice, and it's good. I've had my pleasure of being squashed with Kim.
Yeah.
Against the rail.
Forget it.
It's not, and they're not close anymore. They've actually made a huge gap between the stage and the people now. When they first did these, you were like right against the thing, and you literally, if Gene wanted to put his foot there, you could touch his foot and stuff like that. Not anymore. There's like a huge gap. So that was with that. So we just hung out more in the back. Kim has a hard time seeing. It's not easy for her being 4'10", or if that, So we just enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. I know what I'm going for now. You know what I mean? I know we're not going to get, 8 million deep songs. It's just not going to happen. Would I love it? Yes, like everybody else. I would love for them to play super deep cuts all the time, like a whole set list. But it is what it is. And then people say, I shouldn't say. I know. It's my money, though. It's your money. You don't like it?
Yeah, you are sitting on the pool deck with like-minded Kiss fans listening to Kiss play a small, intimate show. I mean, they did Deuce Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse, Plaster Caster, Shock Me, shame on them. Got to Choose, Going Blind, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Do You Love Me, Two-Timer, which is cool. Christine 16, that's cool. That doesn't get thrown out there all the time. Nothing to Lose and Strutter. That is not a terrible set. Yeah, we would love more rarities and never heard before, but come on, let's be realistic as well. You are still seeing a Kiss show. You are still on a pool deck of a cruise ship about to sail, and you're with, some of the diehard Kiss fans and cruisers, seeing it. When I did it in 18, I was happy. I wasn't going to get into the throng trying to be up close. I just went to the back. I think I was with you. Certainly your mom was back there that time, and, just enjoyed it from back there. So again, the experience is everything, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing, too. Do you want to get up front or in the middle of the pack and be like a sardine can? You can't move and just, hopefully catch a pick without getting crushed to death, because it's We Are One crap until the shit hits the fan and Kiss comes out, and it's an assault. If you're in that pit or you're in that area, there's not kumbaya if everybody thinks you are.
Yeah, it goes from We Are One to I Me Mine in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. So me, I did, like I said, I've done that, did that. And, so now when I'm back, I can actually go, and me, I'm like, yeah, go do that. And I'm like, kind of singing along. And I think a lot, you can hear the crowd dancing or the back singing and everything. And you look around, you see other fans, doing the same thing. So you can kind of move more, dance around more and just have some fun in the back. I don't know. There's different ways to how you look at it that way. So I enjoyed it anyways. We both did. Me, the first 3 albums, anything off the first 3 albums, I'm in all the time. It doesn't matter. Me, the only thing it is, like you said, the Shock Me thing still kind of gets me. Everybody knows I'm a huge Ace fan. I'm friends with Peter. And so, but it just gets me. He has his own song. Why don't they play like When the Lightning Strikes? You know what I mean? I'd rather hear Tommy do his own song. It'd be just different. Why not? I know they played it when he did Monster, but why not do it? Why not let him do his own thing, his own solos, his own stuff, his own singing, for a song that's his, in perspective way. That's the way I look at it. But, and they played one of Kim's favorite songs, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. She was all happy. That was awesome. So I enjoyed it. So again, you know what you're in for when you go to see this stuff. So take it or leave it.
Hey, they did
Don't
Deuce. I would
watch.
have been happy.
I love Deuce. Deuce can never get old either, too. That's what I said. First 3 albums, I'm in. So that was cool. So the next thing, right after that, as everybody knows, if you go on a Kiss Cruise, or maybe if you don't, um, they have the Kiss Cruise, sometimes casino chips. So I shouldn't say sometimes they do. This year they only made the $5 ones. But we found out, see, I did not look on Facebook, believe it or not, only to post my stuff. I didn't hear any of the set list. I didn't see any of the merch. I was totally blanked it. It was awesome. We went in not knowing anything. Because people say, hey, did you hear? No, don't talk to me. I don't want to
Yep.
hear nothing.
I mean, I tried to show you a set list, and you're like, nope.
Nope. Nope. I wanted to go in this just like it was the one and only cruise, not two of them. So, the mad rush after the show is done is basically because by then we're out to sea enough so they can open the casino so they can sell casino chips because they have to be 5 miles out or 7 miles out or some crazy thing like that. So, the mad rush to get down to the casino chips, and it is a mad dash if you want to get it for most of the time. But this year it seems like they got it. They got the clue about how it says that you're only supposed to get like five per day. After the second day, you could buy as many as you want. But when we went down there, they're like, buy whatever you want. It was all in cash. You couldn't use your key card. That's the one thing you have to pay in cash. You can't use your key card. But we got lucky because I had heard that they had two different $5 coins, one for the first cruise and one for the second cruise. So I went down. I'm like, okay, I had asked somebody if they had any extras. A lot of people said they didn't, or they forgot, or whatever. Whatever. So I went down there, and they actually had extras. So there must not have been a lot of people from the first cruise that wanted this stuff. So I can't remember which ones. Oh yeah, do they have the date sheet? Yeah. So here is the first one from the first, I would say the same week, but they call it week 1. And here is the second. All they do is change the color. They went from blue to purple.
Nice.
So that was cool that they had enough.
You got your casino chips this year.
That's all I want. Yeah, that's one of the little things I like. It's just, so the next thing, as everybody knows, is the infamous penny machine. The penny machine.
Was it broken?
Yes, again and again and again. So I was looking for the penny machine. Somebody told me where it was. We go looking. I'm standing there. Kim took a picture of me at my arm on it, and she says, "Not again." So there was a 6-man. I went there. There's one guy. It was totally down. And then I went back again, and there's a lady from 6-man, girl from 6-man called Kat, and she was there. And I'm standing next to her. I'm the only one. And Kim's sitting on the window thing, going, "Oh boy, not again." So I was standing there, and the girl goes, "Well, Andy, what are you hanging around for?" I'm like, "Well, we want to see if you get this fixed." She goes, "Well, the pennies aren't dropping right, so it might be a couple hours." I said, "Well, I'm going to wait here." She goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Why would you want to wait around?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really want to wait around, but this thing breaks so many times, and by the end of the week, you guys just unplug it and say it's over." So she's like, I was waiting and waiting, and then the guy wasn't coming to fix it, and she's like, they got so many things to do because day one they're running around. And so anyways, she told me, she says, "Andy, so I gave her my full name. She goes, "What's your cabin number?" Gave my cabin number, and she says, "Andy, man, when we get this thing fixed, I'm going to make sure you get these." And I looked at it, I'm like, "Serious?" And I'm like, it's like that double doubt. Cool. Awesome. But then I'm thinking to myself, what happens if she doesn't? And I'm paying for them. It's not like I'm not paying for them. So, but I just jump ahead. A couple days later, I get a thing in the mail. I'm not in the mail. I got a thing. Here it is. Bingo. A little envelope. Andy, enjoy. Fun souvenir. Live loud, 6-man. With a little card. And I did pay for them, so I don't want to think I didn't pay for these. I did. But they hooked me up getting them. So thank you, 6-man Cat. And every time I saw, I smile and say, "Thank you." You know what I mean? And I know it sounds silly, but to me, that's cool. So good. Also, they had the cups. You know, the cup every day.
Every
Kiss Cruise
day,
cups
gotta buy a
every
drink.
day. You didn't have to buy a drink in it. They would just give them to you. You could just buy them. I think if you're out to sea, it was like $5. So you could get each cup every day. You know, so
Wait,
they glow in the dark
you mean I
with the
drank
cup.
all that crap to get the cups? And okay.
Not anymore. You don't have to. So, you know, every day they would have a different cup.
Oh, that one looks good.
But
I like this.
yeah, they all have the, you know, each of their, you know, icon, and they'll put stuff in it, and they'll do the colors. And I thought they would have a special Halloween one, because usually on Halloween, but they just had like, that's the last one. And actually they were selling these on day 4. They were like, I guess they had extras from the week before. So there were cups everywhere. So it wasn't like they were short cups. They were like, yay, they finally got it. You didn't have to kill each other to get a cup.
Yeah,
So
I think
that was
because
very
the
cool.
first week wasn't sold out, at least I believe it wasn't sold anywhere near sold out, that there
Yeah.
would have been quite a bit of extra in anticipation of it being a full boat. Hence the chips, hence the cups and all that.
Yeah. And then one of the nights they gave us these little, as a goodie or whatever, each night in your room, his little sailor cap. Whee! You know. And then they gave. I haven't opened it yet. You know, me and Kim's like, "You're gonna open it," but we got our Kiss, whatever it is. It's supposed to be a flag or something like that. I haven't opened it yet, so I'll get to it. Now, here's the thing that you could pre-order merch, and some of the pre-order merch. What do you call it? Not all of it was on the pre-order for sale. So you had to go to the atrium anyways. Of course we would, to check out stuff. So some of the stuff they sold, like this shirt, to me, man, I'm sorry, this is the best shirt of the whole cruise. Period. I thought some of the images this year were the worst of all the Kiss cruises. And a bunch of people said the same thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Just ugly. So, anyways, that was it. So. This year they also gave, you know, a pick set in your room. You know, the pick sets they give you.
Yep.
We always get, you know, everybody's cool about it. The dog tags. We always get the dog tags the last night. You know, and every day you get like these little cards, you know, about what's going on for the day. You know, let's make history. All these like little goodies. This is like the little stuff I love.
You know that's
You
the
know?
part about it that makes it really nice. Just that kind of attention to detail. Here's the schedule for today. Here's your knick-knack at night when they turn down the beds for you. You know, it's just the little touches. Yeah, you pay for it all, but it still is nice.
Yeah, I love all this like little paperwork stuff. I don't know. I've always loved it. It's very cool. Schedules. There's just, you know, they give you schedules. Even when you first get on, there's a schedule thing. There's so much paperwork and stuff. You know, like little things. And let me grab some of the stuff.
The more paperwork
Yeah.
they give you, the more advertising space they have to remind you of the many different things that you can purchase.
True. That's what I mean. And they had the Kiss napkins this year, which seemed to be, I don't know, harder to get. You have to ask the bar. Like they have them all underneath. Before they used to just put them all over the place, and you know, people like, you know, AKA steal packages of them, and you know, they're on eBay for $19.99. Ha, right? They're on for like $59.99 or some crazy, I don't know, whatever. So, and then of course you get, you know, these every day. Well, here's the thing with these, like this stuff. This is the stuff that they give you these every day. Tells you what's going on for the day. And they put them on the outside of your room on your door. There's like a little thing that can slide things in. And you have to get up early in the morning to grab them, because you know what? You know, there are a-holes out there who go down the line and steal them all from you. So if you don't get up like early in the morning, they're stolen from you. They're gone. You know, they just disappear. People steal stuff. Let's just put it that way. You know, and you get all these, tell you what's going on for the week. And then, yeah, he was like, when you first get on, here's what's going on. You cut, you know, the perfs, you put them in your lanyard thing, so you can like walk around, you know, holding a lanyard. You put them inside of it. You're like, oh, look at a schedule. But sometimes the schedules would change, which they did a lot this time, because of the weather was like, you know, not the greatest at times.
You're on the
So
you're on the Pacific Ocean, not the Caribbean.
Yeah, to me though, when the weather was in the 70s, I loved it because that's my kind of weather.
That's perfect.
Not the 90, 100-degree weather like in Miami or some of those other places. So to me, the weather to me was perfect, but there were some times that people not happy about the weather. So here is the big thing, which Kim laughed at me. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, here's sorry everybody. This is just so much little stuff. They gave us a lunch box. So everybody got a lunch box. And here is the craziest thing. The Paul pizza, okay? You could buy a Paul pizza box without a pizza in it.
Thank
so
God.
This is the pizza box folded, like kind of folded, but it's a small pizza box. I know it's got it upside down, whatever. But I'm going to read to you what it says on the bottom. And people thought I was kidding. The actually box says, caution, this box may be too cheesy for some. I kid you not. And Kim even laughed at me, go, why are you buying a box for $12?
Why not?
She goes, are you out of your mind? And I said, why not? But guess what? That was the thing to buy, I guess, the hot seller. Because there are people that I know who've been in basically on every Kiss cruise who collect like this little stuff like I do, didn't get it because it was in a restaurant back in a corner somewhere. It was hard to find. And if you didn't get them, they were gone in days. Gone.
Hey, it's something different. It's quirky, and it's not for everyone, clearly. There's nothing wrong with that. But come on, Paul shows off pizza things all the time on his social medias, and then he does this for the cruise. Yeah, you can laugh or gag, you know? It doesn't matter which. Someone's happy. If it's not your thing, don't buy it. Made some fans happy or gave them something to laugh about.
True. Yeah, I mean, people's like, did you buy extras? No, I bought one, actually. That's it. It was like, you only bought one, too, right? Yeah, just one.
Yeah,
that's
but you're not one of those people who would go around taking everyone else's stuff out of their mailboxes to throw up on eBay. That's not what you do. You are a collector. It's gone into your museum, and where it'll be enjoyed.
Well, actually, I did buy extra casino chips of the first week and the second week in case my friends miss out.
Different. Yeah, it's a different thing.
Because the casino chips were a hard thing. So it's weird. Now I have actually extra casino chips. It's so bizarre because most of the time I'd be like, here you go, here you go, here you go. You know, it's so weird that they actually made enough stuff this time. So that's good in a way. So anyways, I have to find out if any of my friends missed out, but I don't think so. I'll have to double check. So here is the last gift because I wanted to know nothing. So, and I guess there was a lot of problems in TSA with this thing because I guess on the first Kiss cruise, people had to throw them away. I would have been crying. They gave us Kiss Snow Globe. So here it is. And I only just cracked it open a few minutes ago because I didn't even look. So it's a Kiss Snow, and it's actually pretty cool.
That is actually I like that. That's really neat. And I know they've done some Spencer snow globes before, but that's a really nice touch, especially for everyone who is freezing in the Pacific.
Yeah. So now I'm going to read the card to you because now that we know that they announced there is going to be another Kiss cruise in 2024 out of Miami, which if you look at Six Man's other Kiss cruise,
is that confirmed that it is Miami sailing into January rather than?
I understand that Paul had mentioned a couple of times. He did actually say out of Miami at his, well, he said Florida. That's what he said, Florida. But Six Man has another cruise already booked in January, the 13th through the 17th. So I would imagine the Kiss one's either going to be right before it or right after, the 18th or whatever, or whatever that week before, the 12th or 13th. But I'm going to read. This is what it came with the snow globe, okay? Now, this is pretty sentimental. A lot of people said they were like crying when they started reading this, and they must have really had thought this was the last Kiss cruise. I mean, it sounds kind of corky now, but now that they announced that they're going to do one, it says these past 11 years have been full of wonderful memories, lifelong friends, countless encounters with some of your favorite artists, experiences you will never forget, and shows you'll never. You'll remember forever. As we look back on our shared history. One thing is for sure: the Kiss shows on board have been nothing short of iconic. While we wish we could bottle up all the live energy of the Kiss show, the next best thing was this commemorative Kiss Cruise snow globe. Shake the globe and watch the confetti fall anytime you're missing your Kiss Navy family and remembering else the incredible times you've had on the hottest vacation on Earth. So it was kind of like, they must have really thought, I know it sounds maybe like, oh yeah, you're full of it, but, if you really think about it, and then you turn around, it's the red and white, like, fluttery, looks like the confetti.
I mean, that,
you know what I mean?
I bash, some of the merch that they come up with, but that is an incredibly well thought out message and gift. And I'm sure the fans who had problems with TSA must be besides themselves for that, because again, security in the air takes paramount consideration these days. But that is just heartbreaking, because that's actually genius. That really, so whoever came up with that idea in the Kiss camp or the Sixth Men camp, whomever, well done, kudos to you, because you've actually made me smile. And I could often be a little bit hard to please.
Yeah, and I'm and I do feel bad for those people that for the first week, because I guess somebody took a picture of where they were on TSA, and you could tell because they came in a white box, and there were like piles of them at the trash. And I'm like, wow, piles of them at the trash. Do you imagine what they did with those? Either threw them away or somebody, and TSA goes,
they'll be up on eBay.
A fortune,
Yeah, no, they will be up on eBay.
Yeah.
Have to keep an eye out.
Wow. Yeah. So that was that, I think, with the goodies. So, when I bought this shirt, I
like the shirt, by the way. Can you show that shirt off again? Because that one actually looks pretty cool.
This is cool, and it's got all the band members on the back, and I guess they had this one for the first cruise, but with all the other bands, they're on the back. I don't want to take it off. But anyways, but they got all the bands, and it's got the skulls on the back and chains. This was the coolest shirt, period. And they sold out, bang, gone. They were gone. You know what the funny thing with the merch? Some of the pre-search, I told Kim, though, this is one thing I was kind of bummed about. When you pre-order merch, they had like a keychain, and they had some other like little things. And I was like, nah, I don't want that. I got like the towel, because I had collected the towels, so I got the towel, and Kim wanted a blue shirt, so I got a purple shirt, blue shirt, I forgot, and that was about it. I didn't really, like I said, I wasn't crazy. And then we got there, like the keychains weren't there. There's no hat. There's no flip flops. There's no koozie. There was none of that, like little things that sunglasses, all that stuff wasn't there. There was a bandana, Sarara. That's Sarang. I could say it wrong. But other than that, there wasn't like those little things that I love to take home, the little thing. And that was kind of weird. They had all the other bands, of course, that were on the Kiss Cruise. You could buy everything and anything. Bruce Kulick had a bunch of stuff there that you could buy. The lines were long at times, and then they had a thing about when you could go down and when you couldn't. So there were times that you could get in there without huge crowds, but of course you wanted to get in early in case your sizes ran out. Like I said, this was the shirt to get. This was the one that everybody wanted. So that was pretty cool I was able to get one. But it's funny, a friend of mine, he went in line for this, and I went in line and got the pizza box for him. So I got mine and his at the same time. So that was the thing. You go here, I go there. That's kind of how you have to do it. So that was that. So next, what else you want to know?
Yeah, so for first day, you've covered the Sail Away show. What were some of the shows that you caught? Because, first night, obviously, Buck Cherry's playing Sister's Doll, playing Plush, Striper, Riot, Black Sabbath. What events did you take in? Because there's a lot to do on a cruise.
Yeah, after that, we ate. The rooms were open, so we kind of put stuff back, getting ready. We went to see the Sisters, of course, standing there, and they played in a bliss. They were called the bliss room.
Yeah, that's the lounge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super loud. I mean, I have personally, I have to be careful. I said with the virus that's in me, my ears ring anyways from loud music all the years, but the virus has a thing with me about being loud. So if I get my ears start ringing even extra loud, like I can't even explain it to people. It's so loud, like you got your head against an amp, and then I get a headache, and then I'm down for the count. So I have to be very careful about where I stand now. Even with earplugs, sometimes it doesn't even help cramming them in there. It's like I need super muffs. It doesn't matter. I have to be super careful nowadays. So we watched some Sister Dolls for a while, and then the Black Savage band. I dressed as Ozzy and went down there. And they were looking at me, the singing. They were looking like this. And Eric Singer was off to the side with some of the other guys, and you could see even Eric Singer kind of looked at me a couple times when the lights went on. He's like kind of looking. It was kind of funny. So I did that for them, and it was just silly. And then I saw some of Buck Cherry in the top deck. I had seen them a long time ago. I was not one of my favorite things, you know what I mean? And from my understanding, somebody said they hadn't heard so many F-bombs in their life. So, whatever. But, Chuck Berry was not my thing. Yeah. It's funny, too, but not funny. I wouldn't say funny, but where our cabin was, Striper was there. There were only a couple cabins down. I was actually in an elevator with Sebastian Bach when we first got on the cruise, and I had no idea. His luggage, he had his destroyer luggage, and we were in the thing, and I was making jokes. You know, when you get on the cruise, everybody smells nice, and we're all crammed in, and we're like, well, we all smell nice. And I started laughing, and I looked down, and I said, hey, man, cool luggage. I wish I had that, because it was the one from overseas, and you had to pay a fortune or whatever, the destroyer. And it was Sebastian Bach, and I had no clue. Somebody told me, Andy, you're making jokes in an elevator, saying all this stuff, and telling this guy his luggage is cool. It's Sebastian Bach.
Nice.
So funny. And the Striper guys were around, and it's just weird. A lot of
they're nice guys too. I mean, I don't know if you bumped into them.
A lot of the other guys, even the guys from Buck Cherry, I mean, a lot of the people, they were just roaming around. They weren't hiding. It was pretty cool. So if you were like really into all those other bands, this was your shot to meet them, I mean, even Zakk Wylde and stuff, they were floating. Everybody's floating around, sitting in the buffets, eating like regular, hanging out more, maybe a little bit more in the corners and stuff. And but most people were just, hey, how you doing? I seen Sophie, Shannon walking around, Sophie, but I never bugged anybody, If they saw, I just said hi, how you doing, and just kind of moved on, I wasn't going to be one of those people running up to them, at dinner or lunch and say, hey man, I want a selfie. I need a selfie. I need a selfie. You could see a couple of times in their eyes, people like, come on, you know what I mean? I'm trying to have my lunch or try to have my dinner, or I'm with my other friends, I mean? No, so that's just not me, that's just not us. So I have to say the acts were good in ways, and I just, I had to be careful, and I need some rest too. I can't get fatigued as much anymore, so that was that. So it was pretty cool though, but the other bands floated around, and they did this sets in different smaller places. Nobody played in the Stardust Theater except for Kiss this time. Nobody else. So everybody either played on the pool deck or in the Bliss Room or Magnum.
Yep.
Magnum, small too. So, I mean, it's full out blast. Boom! And I'm talking loud.
I actually like Magnums. I mean, that's hardcore. Some of the other events that are going on, are like Ask Doc and some of the Paul Stanley Q&A stuff. Did you attend any of those?
I missed the docs because we were going to somewhere else. We went to Paul Stanley's, what was that thing? It wasn't, pasta.
Yeah,
we went to
Cooking with Paul.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's interesting. It's always, it's not always about the food. I mean, I like the pasta. Actually, Kim didn't like it. We would joke around because when he did the pizza thing a couple of years ago, she liked the pizza, and I can't, ugh, gross. I couldn't stand it. So this year was a different way. I liked the pasta. She did. She didn't like the orange case because he puts orange juice in his pasta, cooks it up. So you get like an orangey taste to me. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was fine. And it's always interesting when he talks, and he not just about the food things. Once in a while, he'll throw out other things, what's going on. are you guys going to do another Kiss Cruise? Are you doing this and that? And that's when he
Well,
starts throwing things.
that's the whole thing that's important about these. It's not necessarily about Paul's cooking. It's about his interaction while he's doing that. And exactly like you say, he's talking about other things, but he's also entertaining. I mean, Paul's a showman. You know, whether he's ordering at Starbucks or he's doing his pasta, he's a front man. He's been a front man for over 50 years. It's just part of his DNA at this point.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool and stuff. And of course, you know, the at the end, the rampage to go down in the pit, the people are already in the pit, but then you got the people running like up top, running down again. We just had seats. We just sat there, watched it for a little bit, because even if we wanted to get out of there, we weren't going to get out, because the mad rush going through the aisles is just, you know, it's crazy. They just run down, even though the whole down below is packed. And, you know, you're not going to get there if you're RPI, but people still try to pack it. And I'm surprised that Paul and Gene still hang around to do it. You know, I'm very surprised. So, you know, actually, I think, didn't he leave? When did he leave? I thought he left one of them. Maybe it was the pasta one, because he had to go somewhere else. So he didn't stick around on that one. I think he did leave, but it didn't matter. People still went down anyway. So that was that. So it was entertaining in that ways. And it was a good way to chill out. You know what I mean? Relax.
Yeah.
So we did that. And of course, you get kicked out. You can't stay there, because what was the next one? Maybe I should look at a schedule. Well, what was the next one after that? Because I know they do like was it Gene's? Eric's? Tommy's?
No, I'm looking for it.
It does get confusing after a while.
Yeah. That's just following. I've got the schedule right here, but it's just trying to find what day this took place, because I'm sure it's all a blur for you of which day any of this stuff was.
Right.
The Cruise Kitchen with Paul Stanley, and then there was indoor show number 2 coming up after that. So that's why they threw everyone out with the Stardust.
Oh, well, yeah, but I had indoor show number 1. So Kim and I, as our roommates, did show number 1.
All right, so let's talk about show number 1. How was it? You know, again, there wasn't anything tremendously rare being performed during this cruise. It's all stuff they have done before, but they open up with "Love 'Em and Leave 'Em," which is unusual.
Hey, that's a great way to start. I got home last night and went on to post a couple of photos of the Halloween. We can get into that. Oh, actually, that was Halloween. So let me take this back a little bit. As everybody knows, I do a bar crawl and on these, and I was convinced by Jason. Thanks, Jason. He wanted to bring the crawl back. So I brought the bar crawl back, and that means basically now we go to an island. I email bars, a couple of famous more ones, and then maybe a couple ones that people recommend and this, that, and see if they want extra. You know, if they want anywhere between 50 to 100 plus people at your bar to make you a ton of money, play Kiss tunes and that, and most of them go. So we went to a bar called Happy Endings, which would start out really good and really cheap, and then we went to Sammy Hagar's bar, Cabo Wabo, which is crazy packed and everything's more expensive. And they actually got a band, because I don't want to say I'm the guy, but when I said, hey, come in, and the guy's like, oh, maybe I should get a band. I'm like, well, it's like 100 plus people, and they got a house band to play that night. They were just going to have DJ, but they changed it over to a band. So that was cool. Then we went to Senior Frogs, if anybody knows what a Frogs is, but this one was much, much, much smaller and doesn't look like a Frogs that you would actually see. And then we ended at Fenway Bar, which basically is based after Fenway Park. And it's just kind of funny because I'm from New England. It's just kind of funny. So I'll just do this fast. About 90% of the people showed up for the bar crawl. By the time we ended at Fenway, there was 15 of us left. So there were people dropping like flies after a while. It's not because they weren't having an awesome time, or a wicked awesome time, as we say. They were just drinking and just partying, and that's it. But you didn't have to drink and stuff to go. So anyways, we get back to the ship. It's Halloween, and Kim and I, everybody says I look like Ozzy in a way. So I told Kim and some other people, okay, I'll do it. So I dressed up like Ozzy, And I not just dressed up like Ozzy, I actually walked like him, didn't talk that much, and I would yell out, Chad, like every once in a while, and people would, like in a buffet, I'm walking, because Kim was around, she was doing, like, getting some food, and I'm just walking around, and I'm doing the little, like, the real slow thing, kind of hunched over, and people are laughing and laughing, because they're like, oh my God, Andy is really good, and I'm like, and all of a sudden I'm yelling, Chad, and you've been to the buffet, and next year you hear all the people sitting down start laughing, because I'm like, because Kim is around, and Kim went as Sharon.
Yep. I mean, it's just spectacular. I wish you'd bumped into Zach.
I had thought about going to the meet and greet, dress up as Zach, but we can get into the whole meet and greet things with when I went the first time. So we went to the Kiss show as Sharon and Ozzy. It was kind of funny. And then right before Kiss comes on, they play an Ozzy song, and I get up and I'm like singing, and I'm like, you're doing a thing. It's kind of funny. So we had an awesome time. And the Kiss show, again, we know what we're getting. We're not going to get a full set of deep cuts. It is what it is. But starting out with Love 'Em to Leave 'Em, that's a pretty good start. I loved it. You know what I mean? Something different. And hey, let's face it, like Kim said, we didn't have to hear Say Ya or Lick It Up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you got King of the Nighttime World, I Want You, Parasite, Making Love, Take Me, Come On and Love Me. Christ, I mean, when you look at it that way, that from someone who's there versus me who's running this through analytics, completely different perspectives. Those are great songs to hear, aren't they?
Yeah, we enjoyed it. I don't care what anybody says. Again, we know that you're only going to get like X amount at this point in their career or anything. That it's changed. It's not Kiss Kruise 11. You can't get the spark back in the bottle to that point, I guess, because it is what it is. So just go and enjoy it. And if you're coming there just to sit there and complain that they're not playing all the deep cuts, then you shouldn't be going, because by now they're only going to play so much, and just enjoy it. You have friends there. You look around, you're supposed to be like, man, all these people are here for the same reason. Nobody's going to bust your chops because you're wearing a Kiss shirt, or you're wearing makeup, or you're wearing whatever. You're there for the same reason. You love this band for some reason. You're your own personal reason, but music-wise, they're all together for the music-wise.
Yeah, between those two shows, the Sail Away and the indoor show, you guys on Kiss Cruise 2 heard 30 Kiss songs performed by the band versus 27 for those who went to the first week one. So you guys came out on top.
I don't even know, because I don't even know.
Those are just the analytics speaking.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's how much I didn't pay attention.
No, and that's my point is that's the difference between the armchair and being in the experience. You're not counting what you're hearing. You're listening to Kiss songs with friends in the moment. And that's the different perspective that people who never go on one of these cruises will never get, because you're just looking at a set list or a photo, and that can't be translated into the experience of actually being there.
Yeah, and we jumped the day. We shouldn't have jumped the day, and because on October, the 30th, we jumped part of it because Bruce Kulick played on the 30th on the pool deck. So, and I'm telling you, man, they got to bring Bruce back every year automatically. You know what I mean? Bruce set list is just off the hook, and I'm not. Now, you know what I think of Crazy Nights, right?
Yes.
Who doesn't, right? I am not a Crazy Nights fan. That was my least favorite Kiss album CD at my time in my whole life, until a couple other ones came out later on in the whatever, But hearing them live, the way they played them live, Bruce and company in the band, they sounded way better. And I was like, wow. And they played my favorite song off of Crazy Nights, which is Good Girl, Gone Bad. I mean, and they played Jungle, and they played, but they played a lot of Crazy Night stuff. Bruce set list, and Bruce just totally kicks ass, period. It you starting. I know you got all the songs there. You can name them, but I'm like, I just, all the medleys, all the stuff, all the people around, because I didn't go into the pit. I stayed back, and I'm like looking around. It's interesting looking around once in a while the songs are being played, and you see who knows these ones, who knows this stuff. You're like, and you can see the same guy, yeah, and they're all yeah, singing along and going crazy. And there's some people sitting there going, I don't know this song. That's just the way it is. But the
Yeah,
ones
and
who
but
know,
on the opposite side of the coin, King of Hearts, which got performed, or Good Girl Gone Bad, may be someone's favorite Kiss song. It may not be
yeah,
yours. You may hate it, and you may be, but that may be someone's jam. That might have made their moment when Bruce
well,
did some of those
like
songs.
what, yeah, but like Paul Stanley said when he met Jimmy, was it Jimmy Page? No, was it Jimmy Page or something? And I'm gonna
Probably
forget
Jimmy
this. I know, and I'll
Page.
get. No, you forgot. Yeah, well, when he met Jimmy Page, or was it from Queen? No, Brian May from Queen. When he finally met Brian May, and Brian May goes, the Rock On Is. Remember that VHS Rock On Is?
Hmm.
When he met Brian May during that, and Brian May said to Paul, "Are you going to play my favorite Kiss song ever?" And Paul was like stunned, and he's like, What? And he's like, Crazy, Crazy Nights. And Paul went, huh? Like he was mind blown by it. So I guess you could put it in perspective. This is Brian May. You know what I mean? From Queen saying, Paul Stanley, you play my favorite song ever. And it was Crazy, Crazy Nights. You know what I mean? And even Paul said it. He's like, there's no way I would ever guess that song. So that's pretty wild. So
Well, he's
think about it
English.
that way.
Yep, exactly. You never know. And again, like I've said, like you've said, we all have those Kiss songs that are our Kiss jams. Mine's Deuce. Everyone's got their own. You know, again, Bruce is the savior of the cruise year after year after year. And while I wasn't too sure of a couple of the selections that he did, the guys yesterday did remind me that some were performed throughout the 80s, and so he's got just as much right to do them. And if you're not going to hear them from Paul and Kiss, well, Bruce is there and obviously willing.
Oh yeah, more than willing. I think, man. I think I'm telling you, those Bruce shows are, and Bruce is like, you can see it. Bruce wants like perfection. You know what I mean? He wants, like, you can see it. He's so perfectionist to be on that stage with those guys and everybody like looking at each other. When's it going to end? Right to the T. Let's do this. I mean, but it's so awesome, so mint. If those guys ever went out on a tour together to do something or do their albums or do something, that'd be definitely a show to check out. So, and then of course that night is, I know I beat the bands from the night, Visto Blanco, Riot on the 30th, and then there's always Kiss karaoke. All right, people laugh at it and say, "Oh, that's kind of stupid," but I'll tell you, man, Kiss karaoke brings a lot of people together. They love it. Everybody claps along. It's like people do laugh and have funny things, but people are always, respectful. There are some really good singers. There are some like bad singers, but everybody gets along, dances around, laughs. There's some handicapped people there have, things, and they let them sing, and everybody cheers them on like everybody else, and that's class. You know what I mean? Very classy, 6 men to have taken over the karaoke and let them sing, and everybody gets into it. You know what I mean? Very
Yeah,
classic.
and any event that should be all inclusive. So whether you're able-bodied, not a good singer, a bad singer, hey, takes guts to sing in front of other people when your voice sounds like a squirrel being strangled, But you do it for fun, and karaoke's awesome. And I'm a terrible singer.
I actually don't sing, but I get up and dance around and have fun. I don't care. I'm on vacation. It's my money. I don't care who laughs at me, if they do or don't. I don't really care. It's my money. I pay for it. I'm not hurting anybody. Let me go. You know what I mean? That's it. That's how it should be. So on November 1st, what do we have? We had Buckcherry, outside, Vixen outside. Let me see. I'm looking for the kids. That was the one day. That was that November 1st. That was pretty mellow, as in kiss wise, and it was very. It was kind of strange because the old Kiss cruises you would like constantly like on the run, a Kiss thing, run, 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 run. But that was the morning. I think that was the signings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first autographs. Oh no, was that autographs in 1 or 2?
That was number 2 on the
Oh, what
first.
happened? Oh, I'm sorry. See, we keep jumping around.
Yeah,
Sorry
and
about this.
that's what the cruise is. The first autograph session was on the 30th as well.
Yeah, and that was crazy. I'll tell you that because I didn't hear an announcement who was there or who was not. So it was kind of like who's going to be at these things. You didn't know. I think whoever I kind of figured out. I think I figured it out afterwards. Whoever played on the first couple of days of the cruise would be doing the meet and greets on session 1. So I think that's the way it ended up happening. So we go to lineup, and the lines were humongous, huge lines. So then you go in, and they were handing out like numbers, and they were only letting X amount of people in at some point, and they were doing it at one of the, I forgot this, not the Spinnaker, I forgot, whatever place, but they had all the guests in this room, and it just seemed like they were. Then we went into a place we were hanging out with where NCL sells their merchandise, and they would call numbers 1 through 100, line up, go in, go down the stairs. They take your number, you go downstairs, and then you could go on the lines to see the other bands. And the problem was, here's the problem, okay? I'm not going to say I want to complain, but it was ugly. It was terrible. A lot of people, even though they want to see the other bands, say Sister Dolls or Beast of Blanca was there, Black Savage, people there. But let's face it, a lot of people want to see Bruce and company, the band, right? They needed to put Bruce in a separate room.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to see, it was awful. And, and I can say I've been on the other side. You know what I mean? I've done Peter Criss meet and greets. I've done Vinnie Vincent meet and greets.
Bruce should have a separate, dedicated autograph session strictly for him, for his stature as a former member of the band.
Correct. Because there were so many people who just wanted Bruce. The other bands were kind of getting neglected because they're in the same room. But they said, don't go downstairs if you just want to see Bruce. But if you wanted to see the other bands, you could. So basically, when you went, you had to give your number. So if you went downstairs, what do you do now? You can't go see Bruce because there's people already lined up. So you have to leave. But if you leave, you already lost your number. So you can't get back in. So it was complete cluster with that. So, but we finally got in and finally got my 2 signatures, which I just brought 2 CD covers, really, because I didn't want to lug a bunch of records and all that. Most of my records have plastic on them, so I didn't want to do it. So I just brought 2 CD covers. Kim had one signed, I had one signed. He said hi to Bruce and this and that, and said hi to the wife, and then that was it, moved on. And by the time that is, even if we wanted to get most of the other bands signed anything, they were gone. It was over. It was all done. Yep, Bruce needs a totally separate section, 1 door in, 1 door out.
Yeah, and the session's restricted to an hour per the schedule here, and that's not enough time.
Lasted more than that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, it definitely lasted. It lasted more than an hour, but most of the other bands were gone. It just so. Anyways, so that was it. So I never went to the second session. So I thought about dress up as Ozzy, going to see Zach, see if I could get a picture, and I just said, you know what, no. And I understand the lines were just as long and just crazy too. Same thing. So no, they didn't want to do it. So next, what next? Where you want to go?
So you only went to the one indoor show, right?
Yes.
Did you watch the other one on the big screen?
Yes, I did. They moved it to the Spinnaker Lounge, and they had chairs set up and everything else, and you could sit around. So there was no place to kind of, unless you were way on the side a little bit. So the show goes on. We're watching because we're used to having it in the atrium where basically having big screens and
Huge.
basically you're standing up all the time. Yeah, and you're usually standing up and people are singing along and whatever, dancing along. But this Spinnaker, there was kind of like almost no place to do that because they said set up chairs and they have seatings anyways, like big half circle couches and stuff
Yeah.
where you
I
can
know.
go
I know.
back to. It's but everybody was kind of singing along, and then a bunch of us started to go in the corner, and I said, "They can't let me loose. Go." So I went loose and had what a corner. Excuse me. And there's a bunch of Germans there, the people who know from Germany there, and we're all dancing and singing along. And the guy, I can't remember his name, came up to me and goes, "These people don't understand. This is not a DVD. This is live. They should be up dancing. Everybody should be up dancing." And people are trying to get other people to get up and dance and stuff. And, so there were like 10 of us, and then we sit down, get back up, go around, but out of people's way. And we're not doing anybody harm. And we're like, but the funniest thing, people are like, well, they're not going to have any confetti because the confetti, they had the poppers and they could pop from the atrium and they would drop it all over the fans and stuff. So at the end of the show, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we're all around. Next, the 6-man groups come out of nowhere with bags and bags of confetti, and they're just throwing it all over the place, and they're throwing it all over people and their faces and everything else. And it's just not just the white; it's colors. So they have the blue, the pink, orange, light blue, dark blue, you name it. So they're all throwing them green in it. I grabbed some, and it was funny because there was so much. It was like you were at the Kiss show itself, and everybody's dancing around, having fun. And then at the end, everybody's throwing all each other. And then at the end of the thing, I'm like, "Hey, watch this." I'm like laying on the ground. People throw a bunch on me and take photos like you're all worn out at a Kiss show. It was just so fun. And we stayed there. It must have been another 40 minutes taking pictures and just throwing it up and throwing it up in the air, taking photos, throwing it all over each other. And then the cleaners, I felt the sale people, I think, clean. They got like squeegees and brooms, and they're trying to put it in these big bags, to throw it away. And then I took a picture like 4 or 5. Can you send these to my room? I want to put these on eBay. I was making jokes, taking photos, and then it was I didn't do it, but somebody took the bags, picked them back up, and dumped them all over each other and stuff. And the crew was just like, "What are you guys doing?" They thought we were completely whack jobs, doing it that. It was funny with videos and throwing it up, and it was just a blast. I mean, that's what we
Nice.
were there for. So what the
Yeah,
hell? Right?
and come on,
Yeah,
it's still
that
there's
was
a
a
live
blast.
Kiss show going on under your feet, somewhere down in the bowels of the ship. So get into the spirit of things, and you're on a Kiss cruise.
And it was rocky. And it was rocky that night too. I mean, even Paul's like, "Whoa!" Everybody, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!"
Oh,
It was kind of rocky
I
that.
would have loved this. This would have been my cruise. Oh,
Yeah,
70
it,
degrees, Pacific Ocean, Rocky Ocean, Ensenada,
yeah,
Cabo.
yeah.
No
So
regrets.
I loved it. It was awesome. Even Kim said it. She says, like, even she said, she's like, "Wow, this cruise is like more mellow in ways because the Kiss stuff was so kind of spread, And then I don't know. She just said, and seeing people from all over the world again, made met a lot of new people too, not just from past, but a lot of new people too. Hanging out, especially the bar crawl brings a lot of people together too. That alone, because my rule is, you come here, politics away, football away, any sports, throw it out the window. I don't care who you like for president, don't whatever that crap. I make that announcement. Throw it away. That's it. Let's just go and
You
just
gotta.
have fun.
You
Yep.
gotta because you're there because of a unifying factor. Don't bring in all the stuff that drags us apart. Just keep it rock and roll. Last day, Smarter Than a Rock God with Gene Simmons. He also did the Newlywed Game, Eric Singer's Drum Off, and Songs and Stories with the Star Child. Did you get to any of those events or what?
We made the Paul Stanley. What was that?
Songs and
Talk?
Songs and Stories. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm still in the whirlwind. We went to that. That was fine. Talking about, I don't know, everything, anything and anything, songs, stories. And it's funny too. Funny, not funny. I keep saying funny, but we were standing in line to wait. You know how you got to get out of the theater and you wait in line to get in the theater because we don't even know we don't want to pit. We just want seats. We just want to make sure we can get in because they do. It packs the place. And Paul even says, he goes, I can't believe you people here want to listen to me talk. It's funny. And he didn't even sit on the chair. He basically sat on the edge of the stage.
Yep.
So when people are asking questions, like some are pre-done, you see the little cue cards, like you ask the question at pre-screen.
Yeah,
Let's say
they got to do
because
that.
I've been
Keep
some of
things
those doing
cool.
anything. Everything's screen. But then he was answering some that weren't, and some like he said. And he'll just sometimes he would say yes, and sometimes he'd say no. That was his answer. Because some people will ask him, "Hey, what's this song about?" And he'd say, a girl. Well, who is it? He'd be like, you don't know who it is anyway. So so I'm not going to tell you anyways. So that kind of stuff, But I mean, he was
And
pretty candid about stuff.
Sebastian
And
Bach
but it
was there, wasn't he?
He was yeah, Sebastian asked a question. I forgot his questions, and more than one. But oh yeah, about the bootleg stuff, right?
Yeah.
About the Invis Loomis stuff, or whatever it was. And Paul was just saying it's our footage. It might have been stolen. Stuff might or might not come out. Blah blah blah. That kind of thing. So, you know how it is. You never know. That's how you never know. Should they do it? Maybe. I don't know. They don't know. And he said it's easier to do stuff like A&E than even DVDs and stuff. He's like, it's getting like nobody wants or something kind of that point, which is wrong. I don't think that's right. I think we would buy it up anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. We talked about that side of things yesterday, so people who want to hear our opinions on why we agree or disagree with that, check out yesterday's episode 439 on that. But, it is what it is. At least someone asked him.
Well, he's probably the one person that could kind of get away with it. Well, maybe, somebody like that. But, Paul was, nice to, I mean, he came off genuine about stuff. But when we were waiting in line to get in, Striper guys, people was there. And he was like, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but the guy who had the surgery.
Oh, Oz.
Yeah, had the brain. When he was actually explaining I didn't ask the question. Another guy was standing there asking the question because I was standing next to his wife and him. He was facing me. He's talking, and he explained to us about how his brain surgery went because he said that they kept him awake and they wanted him to play guitar while they probed his head because they wanted to see which nerves would stop him from playing. So he said when he was playing and it stopped it from, so that's the one they knew they had to not touch her or whatever they cut or whatever. They would keep moving on and on and on, he said. So, and, we had ear things on and stuff. But he was explaining the whole thing to us without even, it was interesting, And basically he said, I'm still here. I still get to play guitar. I'm still alive. And that's the way it is.
Yeah, he had a super rough go of it as well, and he is such a nice guy. Again, to know what he could have lost.
And he's coming to Paul Stanley's to sit there, and they were like a row behind us, to listen to Paul Stanley talk about songs and stuff. Think about that.
Yeah, you got to remember, all of those rock musicians, whether they're younger guys like Sisters Doll or, Plush, the gals, they're still people. They're still music fans. They're still on a boat with other people, and that doesn't separate them out. Sure, they're not Kiss, who have to stay separate for obvious reasons, security and getting mobbed and whatnot, but they're still experiencing life, and when you really get to see that they just come down and hang out. Yeah, and they eat at the buffet, too. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next one was, what was it? Gene Smarter Than a Rock God? Was that one or the other one?
Yeah, that was one. Gene, are you smarter than a rock god?
And I actually missed it. I was like, we got something to eat, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, yeah, we got a break because we didn't really have a. We didn't, me. I might want to tear something up. Kim was like, why don't we have a schedule? I'm like, but then I have to take it apart. She just goes, what
But
are you doing? It's a piece of
what
paper.
people
Even
also
at times.
forget on these cruises is that each one of these blue and green dots or whatever they are aren't things that you have to complete. It's like a buffet. You don't have to do every single one of these things because
Well, I should.
you're on a boat and things take over. I mean, it happens.
Well, it's a Kiss thing, and I should have been there, and so I should smack myself. But
Well, it'll be up on YouTube.
well, I can understand too is that I need to eat now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
also you have to, and also you got to line up too. So if you go from one thing, you got to eat, then you have to line up, or you want to eat, and I'm like, we're eating, and then somebody goes, Andy, how come you're not at Gene Simmons' thing? I'm like, well, why are you here? And they looked at me and they're like, yeah, that's true. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of eating, going, man, I got to eat, so I got to do what I got to do. So I missed it, and like you said, it's probably up on YouTube already.
Yeah, I mean,
So
on mine, I missed all sorts of stuff. On one occasion, I was down in what's the name of the Irish pub, whatever it was. I was having a cup of tea and something and hanging out with a friend, and they were showing Detroit Rock City of all things, and we just stayed chatting the whole time. Whatever other events were going on didn't matter because it was that moment of what I was doing was my cruise activity rather than some blue or green box on a schedule.
yeah, and also we missed Eric Singer's drum off. I mean, we walked by it, because we went from coming through, and they had it in that bliss room. They put it in a bliss room. It doesn't make any sense. There's like it's packed. Excuse me. You can't see. It didn't make any sense. So all you can hear is people drumming. Who? Where? Who are they? You couldn't see nothing. It was a terrible setup for that. I'm sorry. It was lousy. Lousy setup for something that you would actually want to see these people drum, and you can't see unless you want to try to force your way through a crowd of people in a bliss room that's not that big. So that didn't really make any sense. And then we did walk back. I'm like, where are they going to play mini golf with Tommy Thayer? I didn't really understand that since there was no mini golf actually on thing, but they set up things in the back court. They made like little things. So we walked back there that way out because it was outside. Some people are hanging around watching that. So we watched a little bit of that, but it's just like people hitting, mini golf into things. So we sort of saw some of that, and then I don't want to break it down, but we, somebody's wife passed away from cancer that we knew. She would always go on to Kiss Cruises, and we did a little bit of certain people that knew them good. We did a little thing off that side of the ship, and we just did a little celebration, kind of togetherness kind of thing. There's people from all over the world got together and just kind of
Yeah, a
spread some.
lot of people knew that couple, and I'm glad that he decided at the last minute that he needed to be on the cruise with all of you people.
Well, well, there's actually two people. It's actually two people that's happened to. So one was from Australia and one was from the United States. So um, it's the funniest thing because the one from Australia, she she hated water. She would never drink water. She hates water because she thinks because fish go in the water and fish have sex in the water and poop in the water. And she used to joke about it.
It's
So
true.
when we did the thing, we spread some. We spread some of her ashes in the water, and some of the ashes would like float back up, and they're like, "See, she's on us already." So it was kind of a go up in the air. They're like, "Yeah, she still hates the water." So we did that, and the other person, his wife had just passed away. I mean, really before the cruise. So we're glad he went on. You know, we went up to him. I didn't do anything on Facebook. I just went up to him and said, if you ever need somebody to reach out to, you know, us, me personally and Kim personally, and there's this huge Kiss community that are here. And if you need to reach out to somebody, we are here. You know what I mean? So that was all good. And, people have their different ways of doing things. So, I think it was a good idea for him to get on. You need that. This is why people should be doing this and getting together. So I'm glad he went. This is what you need to do. And there's a lot of love.
Whether it's the Kiss Cruise or Creatures Fest or Cruise Fest or whatever, get together with your crowd and your people. When times are tough, go back to the people who matter to you, and put all that other stuff to the side as much as you can. Obviously that's a life-altering, thing for those affected, but, separate yourself from it for a moment if you can, and the best place to do that are in the places like these that brought you the most joy.
Yeah. And then, so that was that. And then we went to see Gene's, Gene and what was it called? The couples the newlywed game kind of show thing. And that's the one I actually wanted to get on with Kim if we had got chosen, because I just think it would be funny. We would have got about 50% of the questions, because some of the questions were very odd to us. We just would have been like, what? Like, what's your favorite movie? Kim would have never have guessed, because I just watch movies. I don't sit there and say, this is my favorite movie ever. But like the pet peeve stuff, we both looked at each other and guessed, stuff like that. But we would have got probably about half right, if that. If they were like Kiss questions, all of them, we would have smoked. It would have been kind of cool. Where were you born? What's your pet peeve thing? What's your bucket list thing? What would be your thing if you had got everything but you want, stuff like that. So we would have got about maybe 50 to 65% of them. So that was kind of cool. And then it was cool with Gene, man. I'll tell you, he just starts getting up and starts giving everything away. If you haven't seen pictures, if you haven't seen the pictures, he had a whole Gene Simmons, go to genesimmons.com, Gene Simmons money bag, this and that, vodka and all this stuff. He had stuff everywhere, and he's just giving away. Just starts standing up, go, here you go. Starts handing out to people in the down below. And then Sophie would jump up, grab some of the bottles. She was walking back, giving some away here and there, signed ones and everything. Gene Simmons soda and blankets, everything, the whole thing. He thinks like everything's got to go. I'm like, wow, this is Gene Simmons giving everything away? Weird. But it was an awesome time. And then, of course, at the end, Gene hangs around. Everybody, and he was signing, giving stuff away, signing, and he was there for a long time. And after about a half hour, it's like, okay, we'll go. We watched enough of it. We headed out. So we did that. That was pretty funny. And actually, Shannon and Gene won, because I guess they were terrible the first week. They got smoked. And Shannon said, man, he's terrible. He's sleeping on the couch. And Zach Wild, his wife were there, or girlfriend, I don't know what he called, but they have 4 kids, whatever. I don't know if they're married or not, but they were there. They did okay. It was funny. But anyways, that was fun. It was all good all around. It's just good to listen to Gene talk here and there, and the rest of the people talk and do stuff. And then we went to Paul Stanley's, what was it, bedtime talks or whatever. What was that?
Bedtime
I
stories.
forget the name of this. Yeah, we went to that. Paul was hanging around talking, all that good stuff, and he would just talk. And then he hung around signing stuff, giving away stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's just everything's a whirlwind. Everybody says, "Wow, how can you forget this stuff? You were just on it." But
again, that's why I want to talk to you, because we're going to get the experience, not specifics. You want the specifics, you have to attend a Kiss Cruise yourself. You want to just hear about what it is to be a fan, in a whirlwind. You got Andy telling you.
No, but I mean, if you've never been on the Kiss Cruise, you don't, you like, unless you're like recording this stuff and then rewatch it after, you'll really remember everything. But in the moment, you're just there to chill. Well, he's chill. He's sort of chill, I guess, right? Because you run around. But this one wasn't as run around as much as, unless you want to see every single band, then you kind of run around to see every single band. But we just kind of went with the flow. We weren't really pushing it to this time. Now, remember, too, we were in California the week before, and I tortured her before at 4 o'clock every morning. Get up, let's go. Get up, let's go. You know. But, I mean, we knew what we were in for. We saw a lot of people from the old days. And I'm going to bring something that Paul said, which, people say stuff. They announced a cruise from Florida either January or February of 2024. And Paul mentioned basically saying, hey, you know what? It's the people that don't like us, don't want us to do this stuff, and they can go blank themselves, which is like kind of weird to hearing them swear, especially with the audience, like, you know what I mean? But basically, if you don't like it, screw off. Don't come. Don't go. You don't like it? You want to stay home and bitch at it stuff? Let's stay home and bitch at it. I mean, granted, I don't like everything they do either all the time. But for the most part, I know what I'm in for when I go see old friends, see new friends. And yes, the whole cruise thing, I really do want to hear more hardcore songs. I do. But I don't know, with this new plan that they say they're going to do, we'll see what happens, But I enjoyed it. Actually, Kim enjoyed it. And I can't believe we're going to end up talking about 2024. A Kiss Cruise in 2024. No makeup show. Just the Sail Away show. Gene Simmons band there talking about Soul Station. Now the Kiss tribute bands. It says, but we'll see. That'll be a kind of weird, interesting kind of concept.
I'm withholding judgment until there's more information available about 2024. I won't go regardless. I've done my one cruise and that's enough. I'm happy to live vicariously through, the YouTube videos and recordings. But I am interested to see how they structure this. And we just don't have enough information yet right now. Something's happening at that time, or at least that's the plan now. I'm open-minded enough to give Soul Station. I would go down to L.A. if Paul was doing a club gig down there. I would go down. Definitely, without a hesitation, just drive down that day, get a hotel overnight, drive back up, and go see Soul Station. Just to experience it. I don't have a problem. I've seen the Gene Simmons band. I would go if he was doing it in L.A. I'd go down for that as well because that'd be worth seeing again. Now that I think those are two value adds.
Now think about this too. If they, besides Soul Station, man, they got the Gene Simmons band, which is parts of it, Ace Frehley's band. Imagine they could mix it up if they did like a couple shows and they mix it up like Bruce, and you got Bruce on that for the next. You could have some pretty cool stuff, and then. When they had Sebastian Bach doing the All-Star Jam, they were playing some Kiss tunes, and they mixed it up with different stuff. Maybe they called the Kiss tributes that kind of tribute bands, like they have like an All-Star Jam bands that play like Kiss tunes and stuff. So it could be interesting.
Yeah, like the Eric Singer project. How about that? Bring that back.
Oh, yeah, and they say that Eric and Bruce and Tom are going to do their thing. That's what they said. So you could get like the Black and Blue guys, I guess. They could have the Black and Blue kind of thing. Eric Singer project. I mean, you could see a bunch of different wild things could happen.
All of those offshoot bands. I think Bruce has to be a part of it because the Bruce band, Gene band, Soul Station, and Eric Singer project. If you were able to, and Black and Blue, if willing and able, that's actually badass.
It could be. It could be pretty wild. The only thing I would hope for, even though Kiss is not doing an indoor show and makeup, is that the outdoor show is longer, and they do try to do more obscure songs. You know what I mean? Longer. And then crossfingers, that would be cool. Hopefully, since they're not doing that, would they bring back the photo for fans without? Even if they band didn't want to stand, sit in chairs like this, have an open space, and you just stand in between them, or you stand behind them. I'll take it. Some people
would? Yeah, well,
if it's in on a
Aesthetics.
cruise, it's part of the package deal. If you're gonna pay for it, I'll take it. You know, you're gonna pay for it anyways, with or without it, right? I'll take it. If I can get it, why not just take it? You know?
Yeah,
Why not?
that's something for people who actually go to it to worry about. Again, for me, I don't care. I'm not going. My opinion doesn't matter. I'm a peanut gallery armchair commander Karen here. So
No, you're not. You had excuse me, everybody. I'm still got throat issues with, talking to everybody, just having a blast. I mean, it was. I enjoyed it. Maybe because I didn't even more enjoyed it too is because we took 2 years off.
yeah,
Maybe that's another thing too with COVID, us being sick. Both of us being pretty sick and everything else that contributes to it too, man. We enjoyed it. And hey, man, we're both alive. We still get to see Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and the rest of the guys almost 50 years later, and they're in their 70s. You got to enjoy it. Well, we keep saying enjoy it while you last. Seriously, might as well. 2020 again. 2024 is still a while away. Anything can happen between now and then.
Yep.
So just enjoy it. Oh my God, I wish. In ways, I almost wish there was another week it could have gone on.
live for today and enjoy the moments that you have rather than the moments that you don't. Let's leave that there, Andy, so you can go cough up a lung, get your voice all healthy, and also relax because you've been on a whirlwind for the past 10 days, 2 weeks. So you must be ready to kick back and listen to some Kiss music.
I'm actually sorting stuff out. I'm sorting it out by the date we got, and then the confetti stuff. And two, all the people who bring. Oh yeah, we did the swap. That's the other thing too. They did the swap on the day that we were getting off for Cabo to 10 to 11, which made absolutely no sense. And then I asked Six Man. I sent them a message asking him if I could set up another swap, and they said I could. But you can't promote stuff, and it was like the last second. So that nobody knew. Oddly, people knew, but it didn't work. But then I found out, which I didn't even know, I didn't even hear an announcement, is that they moved the swap on to the C day in the morning, which was way better. The only thing I wish they could do that is knowing that it's getting bigger and bigger, is that they get a bigger place with more tables. Because I understand, I didn't get down here until a couple minutes past 10, and there were some people telling me that there were people like, I want the table, I want tables. They only had so many tables, then you had to take like bar tables a little bit off to the side, and I guess there was a little bit of I want. So yikes. So don't need that. So, and then as much as people say Kiss communities together, I have a friend who bought merch, right? Like a bag load, like shirts and sticks, and put it down just to grab his seat, and somebody stole it.
Always happens.
People, come on. Seriously, he literally put the bag down to grab a bar seat so he could sit down, and it was gone. So, I mean, basically walk by, scoop. And again, like those things, everything you get in the morning, if you don't open your door super early in the morning, it'd probably be gone. Somebody walk down the hall and scoop stuff, and that's irritating. That's like super irritating. But I don't know. That just kind of makes me irked. But again, I don't like to be that person. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. It was awesome. I don't want to be a Karen, that kind of thing. But I enjoyed it. I was Elite Fleet Lieutenant this year, and Kim was actually a captain this year. So, and I don't bring in this crap about I have to have this and that because I went on the first one and second one. I went on 12 cruises, and you better, take my hand and give me everything under the sun. Nope. I'm way past that kind of thing. I enjoy stuff. I just, whatever. But I enjoyed it, and They say it's going out of Florida. I would assume in Miami because it looked like Paul had mentioned it. And there's a possibility we could be back because I think even Kim was like, I really enjoyed it this time. I think we might be back. And again, we can't thank Steve and Kim for inviting us to be their roommates because by the time my time slot came up, it was gone. So we can't thank them enough. They were awesome to let us in room with them, and it was great. I loved it. I had a fantastic time. I had an awesome time with you guys and Godmothers. You bringing my box because I was screwed. If you weren't happening to be there, it would have been another long day for me. But and Andrew was there. It was all good. A lot of fans came up to Kim and I, thanking us all, not just me, because Kim has to deal with it. And Kim does help out in the background. She just doesn't like to be the microphone person. So I can't think enough people out there that were so gracious. And they're like the little goodies, the pick swapping, they what they call shit picks and stuff like that. I just, in the little gifts, I got magazines from those French magazines that came out with the creatures on the cover, and then they had a destroyer. Somebody came up to me and just said, from France, and said, "Here you go, Andy." And I'm like, "Wow, really?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you the money." No, just keep Manny. So it's pretty wild, man. This is what it's supposed to be about, I always bring extra goodies, swap out with people and stuff. I got a bunch of stuff from overseas. It's so cool, you know what I mean? So this is the stuff I enjoy, I love, and I hope other people love it as much as I do. I know I ramble on. But I love it. The price tag is the price tag. You can suck it up and do it because someday this stuff won't be here, and then you have all the time in the world to catch up. You know what I mean? So what we eat salad for the next 6 months, if you know what I mean.
Well, let's end it on that note because that's a good positive.
I want to be positive. Everybody else should be positive. Again, if you don't like the set lists, don't go. If you weren't there, don't bitch about the set list because you weren't there. You got to have the atmosphere with it. Enjoy it. Get on it. Get on the cruise. I mean, seriously, experience it live. It's a different vibe live. It's a different whole vibe live. Really different.
There you go.
That's why I look at it. So I'm just saying.
Yep.
Giggles.
Yeah, there we go. So that is the word from someone whose opinion actually matters, someone who was on the cruise. Andy, thanks for joining me and sharing all of those memories with everyone. Everyone's got their own, but, there's another opportunity apparently coming. If you haven't experienced a cruise, I think everyone should at least experience one, and maybe the next one will be the right one for you. But for now, from Andy and me, thanks for joining us, and we shall see you again. Take care. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final, there are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.